The morning was bright, and the studio lights glowed softly on polished floors. Cameras rolled, producers whispered cues, and the host, known for her sharp wit and perfect American accent, adjusted her earpiece. It was supposed to be another easy segment on her popular morning show, Speak Smart. The topic centered on global communication and the changing face of English. Her guest for the day was Dr. Samuel Adeyemi, a Nigerian professor of linguistics who had gained quiet fame for his TED Talk titled, Who Owns English? Calm, articulate, and effortlessly confident, the professor had a charm that made listeners lean in. He was not there to debate, just to share insight on how English evolves across cultures. The interview began smoothly. The professor spoke about how English had traveled from Britain to the world, how colonization spread it, and how today it is a shared language shaped by billions of voices. Everywhere English goes, he said, it does not stay the same. It grows new roots, wears new clothes, and starts to sound like the people who speak it. The host smiled. That is beautifully put, Doctor. So, would you say there is really no such thing as proper English anymore? The professor chuckled. Well, there is standard English, but it is a standard, not a supremacy. The moment you make one accent or one grammar rule superior, you stop communication and create division. It was going perfectly until a small, ordinary phrase changed everything. When the professor said, "I am coming, please," while adjusting his microphone, the host paused. Her eyebrows rose slightly. You mean you are going, right? She said, smiling politely. That is not quite the correct grammar. The audience laughed softly. It seemed like a light correction, the kind of banter viewers found endearing. But the professor simply smiled, calm as ever. In my English, he said gently, it is perfectly correct. The laughter faded. A subtle tension filled the air. The host, still smiling, looked unsure. Oh, I did not realize that was, a regional thing. The professor nodded. It is. Where I am from, I am coming. Please means I will be right back. It is not wrong. It is just ours. That one sentence flipped the entire energy in the room. The audience went quiet. The professor had not raised his voice or shown offense, but his confidence carried the weight of centuries of misunderstood voices. The host tried to move on, asking about pigeons and Creoles, but the moment lingered like an unspoken challenge. Within hours, the clip was on the internet. Someone posted it on X, formerly Twitter, captioned, American host tries to correct a Nigerian linguistics professor on live TV. Guess who got schooled? It blew up. 500,000 views in 6 hours, then 1 million by the next morning. The comment section was chaos and brilliance. One user wrote, "This is what happens when confidence meets culture." The professor did not argue. He educated. Another added, "That man just taught more in 10 seconds than my entire English teacher career." As the clip spread, linguists, teachers, and even comedians joined the conversation. People began sharing examples of how English expressions change across regions. Indians mentioned saying, kindly revert. Singaporeans shared can or cannot. Jamaicans added, I soon come, and Nigerians proudly echoed, I am coming, please. A Ghanaian user chimed in with, I am coming small, meaning just a moment. South Africans posted, now for soon. Australians joked about their own, yeah nah. It became more than a viral clip. It became a classroom. The debate soon spilled into mainstream media. Commentators discussed whether proper English even exists. Some hosts defended the American presenter, insisting she meant no harm. Others argued that her reaction revealed something deeper, the idea that one accent or rule defines intelligence. Late-night shows riffed on it, with one comedian pretending to correct Shakespeare for saying, Wherefore art thou? But the internet had already made up its mind. Dr. Adeyemi's calm smile became a meme, a symbol of grace under pressure. Someone even remixed the moment into a lo-fi beat titled I Am Coming Please, Professor Mix. It racked up thousands of streams. Yet underneath the humor, people were reflecting. How many times had someone's accent or phrasing been mocked, even when they were fluent? How often had intelligence been measured by proximity to a Western tone? A teacher in Lagos shared a story of a student losing confidence after being corrected for saying, "Borrow me your pen." A nurse in London recounted patients doubting her expertise because of her Caribbean lilt. As one viral tweet put it, "English left England a long time ago. It belongs to the world now." The talk show's producers woke up to chaos. Every platform, YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, was filled with the clip. "Hat im coming. Please" was trending worldwide. Viewers demanded a statement from the host. Initially, the network posted a short clip calling it a fun cultural misunderstanding, but the audience did not buy it. "Fun," one comment read. "It is only fun when you are not the one being laughed at." Another wrote, "Imagine correcting a linguistics professor on linguistics. The audacity." Later that evening, the professor broke his silence. On his verified X account, he posted, "We do not speak wrong English. We speak English that reflects who we are." The post hit over 1 million likes in 2 days. Teachers, students, and public figures across continents quoted it. Some used it in classrooms, others printed it on shirts. News outlets like BBC, CNN, and Al Jazeera picked up the story. They invited linguists to discuss World English, a concept acknowledging over 160 recognized varieties of English across the globe. One British linguist put it perfectly: "The world does not speak English. The world speaks English." The discussion took a new turn. It was not about who was right or wrong. It was about language ownership. How can a language spoken by billions still belong to one group? Why do we treat African or Asian English speakers as second tier even when they are fluent? And why do Western accents automatically sound more professional? A Kenyan journalist shared data showing job applicants with local accents were 30% less likely to get callbacks. An Indian call center worker described being trained to fake an American twang. The conversation grew deeper, more self-aware. People began realizing that this was not just about grammar, it was about power, perception, and pride. In a viral TikTok duet, a teacher from Canada explained, "When my Nigerian student says, 'I am coming,' I no longer correct him. I understand. He is not wrong. He is real." But just as the online tide seemed irreversible, a cryptic tweet from the host's personal account appeared. "Working on something. Stay tuned." Was it damage control, defiance, or something else entirely? If you love smart moments where culture and confidence collide, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and join our growing community. 3 days later, the talk show host released a heartfelt apology video. Her tone was genuine, humble. "I have learned something," she said. "Language is more than grammar, it is culture. And I am grateful to Dr. Adeyemi for showing me that." The professor joined her via video call from Lagos. The two laughed about how one phrase had sparked a global debate. He smiled and said, "It is beautiful, is it not? That language can bring us together even when it seems to divide us." They discussed Nigerian pidgin, how it blends English with local tongues, how it is a language of resilience and creativity. The host admitted she had never considered how her correction might sound to someone whose English was shaped by a different history. The clip went viral again, but this time for the right reasons. The internet forgave her. Commenters praised her humility. Some even said this should be shown in classrooms to teach cultural intelligence. One wrote, "Growth looks good on everyone." By the end of the week, Dr. Adeyemi gained over 500,000 followers. The talk show's YouTube channel saw record growth. And that one phrase, "I am coming, please," became a global symbol of cultural pride. T-shirts sold out in Abuja markets. A Lagos barber painted it on his shop wall. The incident reminded the world of a powerful truth. Language is not just words, it is identity. When you correct someone's accent without understanding their background, you are not just fixing grammar, you might be erasing culture. In Nigeria, I am coming means I will be back soon. In Jamaica, I soon come means the same. In India, kindly do the needful is polite, not strange. In Singapore, Kenla simply means yes. In South Africa, just now can mean anything from immediately to never. Each of these expressions carries centuries of history, migration, and adaptation. So when people mock non-Western English, they forget that English itself is a collection of borrowed words from Latin, French, Arabic, Hindi, Yoruba, Igbo, and dozens of others. The irony? English has never been pure. It has always been global. That is why this story hit so hard. It was not about one professor and one host. It was about everyone who has ever been laughed at for speaking differently, yet beautifully. A Filipino nurse in Dubai messaged the professor, thanking him for making her feel seen when colleagues mocked her for saying "open the light." A Jamaican student in Toronto said she finally stood tall, saying "mi de ya." Weeks after the viral moment, universities started using the clip in communication classes. Students analyzed how tone, cultural context, and perception affect conversation. In Australia, a language podcast dedicated an entire episode titled The Grammar of Respect, interviewing Dr. Adeyemi live. In Canada, teachers used it to teach empathy through language, role-playing the scenario with students swapping roles. And in the UK, a debate sparked on whether the Queen's English still defines good English, with MPs citing the clip in Parliament. Even Hollywood got involved. Actors shared their experiences of being told to neutralize their accents for auditions. One British Nigerian actress said, "I realized I sound smart in my accent too. I do not need to sound like someone else to be heard." A Nollywood director announced a short film inspired by the moment, titled I Am Coming. The story had evolved into a cultural movement, a reminder that confidence in your language, however it sounds, is power. Dr. Adeyemi's university launched a free online course on World English, enrollment crashing the server within hours. The host invited him back for a full hour. No interruptions, just questions and stories. They explored how Nigerian English uses proverbs like English translations of local wisdom, how traffic in Lagos inspired time is going. Viewers learned that borrow me is logical if you think of borrow as lend to me. The episode broke the show's ratings record. A follow-up segment featured children from 6 countries saying the same sentence in their English, proving unity in diversity. The apology video spawned reaction threads where former critics admitted they had been the host in other situations, correcting parents, co-workers, immigrants. One viral confession read, "I told my Ghanaian Uber driver he spoke good English for an African. Never again." Dr. Adeyemi responded personally to thousands of messages, turning his inbox into a global office hours. He partnered with the BBC to produce a documentary series, each episode visiting a different English-speaking region. The host narrated the pilot, her voice softer, curious. Merchandise exploded. Mugs saying "My English, my rules," hoodies with the professor's smile. A Nigerian tech startup built an app translating regional phrases with cultural notes, valuation hitting millions in weeks. Schools in Kenya adopted "I am coming please" as a greeting, flipping the script on correction. The phrase entered Urban Dictionary with citations from the clip. Linguists published papers, one titled, "From Studio to Seminar, a Case Study in Viral Linguistic Justice." Another tracked hashtag evolution, showing how hashtag #ImComing please birthed "My English, My Pride." The host's producer revealed backstage footage. The moment she realized her mistake live, eyes widening off camera. It humanized her further. Dr. Adeyemi received Nigeria's national honor for promoting cultural heritage. In his speech, he said, "English did not civilize us. We civilized English." The crowd erupted. Months later, the two co-authored a children's book, Why We Speak Differently, illustrated with kids from every continent holding speech bubbles in their English. It became a bestseller, read in schools from Manila to Montreal. The host ended every show with a new sign-off: speak your truth in your voice. And that is what kept people watching, commenting, and subscribing. Because deep down, everyone loves a story where quiet confidence wins, where a single sentence travels the world and returns transformed, carrying millions of voices with it. Do you think the host meant well, or was it arrogance? Let's discuss in the comment section.